Civil War prisons. Could a voice be given to these silent groves and they become witnesses of what they have seen and heard? What revelations would be made of things that can never be known now? Sergeant W. Goodyear, prisoner of war. Prisoners of war camps in the Civil War were initially planned as temporary places to hold prisoners until they could be exchanged. Neither side expected the war to be a long and bloody conflict. As the war progressed, both sides created formal prisons for captured soldiers. Conditions varied from camp to camp based on the captor's ability and desire to supply the prisoners. Although the Articles of War theoretically required captors to supply rations consistent with those of soldiers in the field, prison rations usually consisted of much less. It was an issue that plagued prisons in both the South and the North. Unsanitary conditions, exposure to the elements, a lack of nutrition, and medical care resulted in thousands of deaths across all camps, North and South. Men who were captured also endured depression, loneliness, and homesickness, which added to the misery of prison camp life. The number of prisoners' deaths in camps was so high. Some 30,000 Union prisoners died in Confederate camps, and approximately 26,000 Confederate prisoners died in Union-run camps. Following the end of the war, the camp commandant of Andersonville, Captain Henry Wires, was tried and executed for war crimes. Captain Henry Wires was wounded in battle and served as a staff officer to General Winder prior to his posting as a commander of Camp Sumter. On November 10, 1865, Henry Wires was hanged in the old Capitol Prison in Washington. He was one of only 2 men executed for war crimes in the aftermath of the Civil War. This image was taken of the scaffold moments before he was hanged. Colonel, later Brevet Major General William Hoffman, pictured in the right of this photograph, was appointed Commissary General of Prisoners for the Union Army in October of 1861. In this role, he controlled prisoner of war operations in the North. Brigadier General John Henry Winder was the Inspector General of Military Camps. His command would later include most Confederate prisoners of war camps. He died in February of 1865, before the war's conclusion. Some have speculated he would have been tried for war crimes had he lived.